Do you have permits to drill? And what's the process in getting a permit to mine in Peru?
In Peru, we have the permits to drill on part of our project at this point in time. It's an application. The beauty of Peru is the fact that so long as you filled all the boxes in correctly and you follow the process through, it takes a little longer. It takes about 8 or 9 months to get a mining permit issued. We already have one. We're in the process of starting the second on another piece of our property. So we're drill ready to go on this project. As far as mining goes, it's simpler than a lot of jurisdictions. You have to do your base environmental work. You have to make sure you're working well with the communities, but it's a process. You follow the process, you do it properly, you get your permits. Okay, the project we have is about 41 square kilometers, 8 kilometers by 2 kilometers strike zone. It used to be owned by Newmont Mining. Newmont Corporation owned the two of the zones. The other zone was owned by Anglo Gold, worked on by Bear Creek, and then subsequently by Rio Silver. There's been a lot of time and effort spent on this. Historically, Newmont spent about $7 million US. On the other piece of property, Anglo Bear Creek, Rio spent about $3 million US. It's sat dormant since 2012. Yeah, 2026 is going to be a very, very good year for us. There's a lot of activity. We have the drill permits on one part of the project. We anticipate starting to drill towards the end of February. Simple reason that in Peru, the first 6 weeks of the year, it's more difficult to operate. The rest of the year is fine. There's no sense in spending money when we don't need to. We will also start developing the red balance of the project. And we've had extremely good results on the surface, but this is a very near surface, shallow project. So what you're seeing above ground is quite indicative of what's below.
Steve Barley, Magma Silver Corp. Good morning to you, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, Andy. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Doing well. Came across you and we met last month. You went through the project with me, and that's what I'd like to do again with you. Very interested in your story here. And to full disclosure, to all my viewers and listeners, as of right now, as this video drops, I am not an investor. I am looking at Magma. This will more than likely or highly likely be changing over the next few to several days as I average in. Also, Magma Silver is a new sponsor to naturalresourcestocks.net. Steve, let's talk about silver and let's talk about what you got in Peru.
I'd love to do that, Andy. We are Canadian listed TSXV, OTCQB, German markets. We are a silver and gold company. Our project's in Peru. We are what I would call a pure silver company, meaning that in the mining game, silver is quite often produced as a byproduct of copper, lead, and zinc, leading to more extraction and metallurgical issues. We will produce silver and gold. The silver and gold will be our primary products, so we're called pure silver. As a result, we end up being a proxy to the silver markets, and as anyone is following silver, it is on a massive run. When I checked today, it's trading at about $74, $75 per ounce, and gold as well is trading at around $4,400 per ounce. So it's a good place to be, gold and silver. Our project is in Peru.
Let me ask you a few questions about that just for clarity. So since you only produce, and is it primarily silver or primarily gold?
It will vary depending on which part of the project we're working on, Andy. In
Okay.
certain parts of the project, it will be prominently gold, and other majority of the project will be predominantly silver.
Excellent. Okay. And you said you don't do, you're not mining any other byproducts. So this is a really highly leveraged, when I say leverage, probably toric is the better word to silver, correct?
Yes, it acts as a proxy to silver.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. And you guys are in Peru. Tell me about that and tell me about the project.
Peru is a very good jurisdiction. They're the third largest producer of silver in the world. They're ranked third in Latin America in terms of friendliness and mining as a mining jurisdiction. They're also the 11th largest producer of gold in the world. And there's lots and lots of major companies and junior companies operating there. They have a very well-defined mining law. There's no nationalistic trends to take projects back. You own your project, you develop your project. It's a very good place to be doing business.
Okay, well, talk to me about permitting in Peru. Do you have permits to drill? And what's the process in getting a permit to mine in Peru?
In Peru, we have the permits to drill on part of our project at this point in time. It's an application. The beauty of Peru is the fact that so long as you filled all the boxes in correctly and you follow the process through, it takes a little longer. It takes about 8 or 9 months to get a mining permit issued. We already have one. We're in the process of starting the second on another piece of our property. So we're drill ready to go on this project. As far as mining goes, it's simpler than a lot of jurisdictions. You have to do your base environmental work. You have to make sure you're working well with the communities, but it's a process. You follow the process, you do it properly, you get your permits.
Okay, excellent. All right, yeah, talk about what you have.
Okay, the project we have is about 41 square kilometers, 8 kilometers by 2 kilometers, strike zone. It was used to be owned by Newmont Mining. Newmont Corporation owned the two of the zones. The other zone was owned by Anglo Gold, worked on by Bear Creek, and then subsequently by Rio Silver. There's been a lot of time and effort spent on this. Historically, Newmont spent about $7 million US. On the other piece of property, Anglo Bear Creek, Rio spent about $3 million US. It's sat dormant since 2012. And in January of 2025, we entered into an arrangement to acquire 100% interest from the current holder, Rio Silver. So we have total control of the project on very, very good business terms. The work done previously gives us a massive leg up in terms of an exploration project. Newmont did about 8,000 meters of drilling, tons of sampling, trenching, complete metallurgical studies. They did a fatal flaw analysis, and a fatal flaw analysis is the mining company comes in and says, is there water, access, the right attitude in the community, power, everything you need to have an operating mine. And in an internal report in 2011, Newmont said yes. They had all of the attributes of a successful mining operation based on the work that they had done. And it's a non-compliant, meaning that it was done for internal purposes. They determined that this was going to be a good mid-sized producer with a lot of potential upside, and it was going to be economically viable at $1,200 gold and at $20 silver. Obviously, current prices are substantially high above that. And just to simplify it, mining is no different than any other business. Can you produce your product for more than what it costs you, or can you sell your product for more than what it costs you to produce it and extract it and find it? In our case, our extraction and processing based on the Newmont work shows you should be $35 to $40 per metric ton cost to extract and process. It's a very simple process. And currently, with current values of silver and gold, using very reasonable numbers, a gram of gold per metric ton and 100 grams or 3 ounces of silver per metric ton, that's $379 US per ton, metric ton,
Nice.
with a cost to produce of 35 to 40.
Yeah,
Every
that's
time
fantastic.
silver or gold goes up, the spread gets even bigger.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Talk to me about really, again, you said you had 100% ownership. Does that mean there's no royalties on this?
There is a royalty back to Real Silver, standard mining royalty, 2% net smelter return. We can buy 1% back up to commercial production for $1 million US. We know the vendors very well. If we went in and made a reasonable offer, we could buy back all of the net smelter royalties. That's it. Over the overall project, our reasonable targets are around 1 million ounces of gold and 70 to 80 million ounces of silver. And I'd like to mention, Andy,
Wow.
we like to stay in our lane.
Yeah.
We are not a mine operator. Our job is to find the project, raise the necessary capital, develop it to a level that a mid-size or larger company wants to pay us more than we think it's worth.
Yeah, no, I got you. But on that, I say this too, I was assuming that you probably, and again, I want to be careful, not I don't want to set expectations above them what they are. But I was assuming you have half of what you just told me. So, very interesting is what I would say.
Yeah,
Um,
no, it's for an exploration project, we're fairly advanced, which gives us a leg up. We're looking at the next 18 months to 2 years. We will work our magic and turn this into a very saleable asset.
Got it. Now, you told me a lot of the majors or who's around you is really what I'm trying to get at because again, you're an exploration company and the goal is to get bought out, taken over. But my next question would be is who's around you and what do they have to work with as far as infrastructure and yeah, that sort of thing on the projects or nearby.
Next to us, the predominant owner is BHP, BHP Billiton,
Never heard of
massive,
them.
massive company. They own tons of property in the area. Anglo is in the area, Teck is in the area, and about 20 kilometers to the west is Silver Mountain. Silver Mountain AGMR. They are at about a 231 million market cap, reworking old underground silver operations.
Got it. So just basically many of the big players, if you would.
Yeah, it's an area of interest. There's an obvious trend sort of going across our project and continuing to the west onto the land owned by BHP. And obviously it continues longer because Silver Mountain's 20 or 25 kilometers away.
Got it. Talk to me about infrastructure. Is this, are your projects that you have here, do they already have infrastructure built into them, or are they next to cities and roads and that sort of thing?
Yeah, the access to our project by Peruvian standards is very simple. When I visited the property, I flew to Lima, 55-minute flight to Ayacucho, which is a 250,000 person city, an old city in the southeast of Peru. You get on the National Highway 28, you drive for an hour and 15 minutes, turn left. You're at our project. So the access on the surface is very simple. It has a power line 7 kilometers away. It has lots of water. We have the support of the local communities, the Tinsula and the Chuchis. And so that's basically what you need for a project. On the project, there's no major infrastructure, but it's not really required. We are a low cost, near surface, open pitable mine. You blast it, you throw it on, you grind it a little bit, you throw it onto a pile, and you heap leach it, and that's the process. It's very, very simple. We don't require any major mine plant operations.
So you said a key word here, heat bleach. So you don't need a mill for this.
Correct.
So that's going to save whoever buys it about $500 million.
I'm not sure if the number is 500 million, but it's going to save a substantial amount of money because heap leach is basically put in a concrete pad with a
Yeah.
collection area, pile of rock, pour a mixture of liquids over it, extract the metals, and that's it.
Yeah. Where's it shipped from here?
You can ship it. As a matter of fact, every day on the highway that runs by our property, there are hundreds of trucks loaded with ore headed to the coast. It's about a 7 hour ride on the national highway to the coast down by Lima.
Okay. Music to my ears. And I say that too. I hope those trucks have a bunch of security around them.
Well, they're carrying primarily iron ore at this
Okay.
point in time, so they don't need as much security.
They don't need as much security. I say that in jest, sort of. It's
Yeah,
just
in
that's
our
a lot of
particular
silver.
case, yeah, in our particular case, you're going to produce a doré or a bar that's going to be silver and gold. Yes, you'll be very cautious, but
Yeah,
it's a
of
very
course.
safe
Of
jurisdiction.
of
You
course, of
probably you
course.
probably fly it out of Ayacucho.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Well, to all my viewers and listeners, Steve and I met earlier in December and became friendly. And I didn't know exactly what Steve was going to say or in this discussion. We didn't rehearse it, but I am pleasantly surprised. So well done, Steve. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about really about share structure here. How much cash do you have in the bank? How many shares do you have outstanding, fully diluted, and where are the warrants and the options written at?
Okay, we basically have about 78, 79 million shares issued. We recently did a large financing through an investment banker in Toronto. We went to raise a few $1 million and we raised $5 million in 12 hours. That financing was done at 15 cents with a half warrant at 25 to a series of well-heeled investors, including Eric Sprott, who is probably one of the best known silver investors in the world. His group took $1 million of our 5 million. They own about 13.4% of the company, fully diluted. The balance was taken down by some very well-heeled, experienced, knowledgeable mining investors. We had some warrants at around 10 cents, all taken down. We have additional warrants at 20 cents, about 6.8 million, that expire in 2027. The current warrants that we just talked about expire in 2028. They're at 25 cents.
So they're all in the money. Everything's in the money.
All in the money. The current round of investors in particular, they're not interested in making 5 or 10 cents on their investment. They are
Mhm.
long-term investment players. Our stock is well positioned, about 110 million out, fully diluted. We're being offered more money. We are looking and considering acquisitions. They would have to be very, very complementary because we're quite excited about the project we have, but we will continue looking. We're being offered money to complete acquisitions that make sense to the investors. And what makes sense to the investors makes sense to us.
Mhm.
We are in here to develop this company and eventually sell it off to a larger company. We will win when our investors win, and that has always been our approach to business.
Got it. Steve, are you an investor?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you just raised $5 million. Correct me if I'm wrong. What is that money going to be used to? Is that for the drill program in 26 this year? And is that drill program fully funded?
Yeah, 2026 is going to be a very, very good year for us. There's a lot of activity. We have the drill permits on one part of the project. We anticipate starting to drill towards the end of February. Simple reason that in Peru, the first 6 weeks of the year, it's more difficult to operate. The rest of the year is fine. There's no sense in spending money when we don't need to. We will also start developing the balance of the project. And we've had extremely good results on the surface, but this is a very near surface, shallow project. So
Yeah.
what you're seeing above ground is quite indicative of what's below, and the drilling that's been done has proven that. So we'll do all kinds of surface trenching, sampling, pitting, as we apply for permits on the rest of the property. So we're going to have continuous news flow through 2026 from the existing drilling program, from the work that we're doing on the project, on potential acquisitions, and we're also looking at expanding our land package.
Yeah. So you stole my question. I was just going to ask you, what should investors expect for a drip or a flow, a good flow of news? And you have that coming all through the spring, so really throughout the rest of the year, correct?
Throughout 2026, we'll have a lot of reasons for people to be interested and excited about our project.
Okay. Excellent. So, Steve, if people want to find out more about you, how do they find you? What's your website? And then the second, if they want to buy and trade you, what exchanges are you traded on and what are your ticker symbols?
Okay, we're magmasilver.com. So you can see all of our information there in our presentations and in our board members. We have a very experienced technical team. We are trading under MGMA on the TSXV and on MAGMF on the OTCQB and FSEB 220 B21 on the Frankfurt exchange.
Excellent. I'll put all of this in the show notes, both on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and we'll link back to you. To all my viewers and listeners, you can find all of the information in that if you want to buy and trade them in the show notes, or go to their website and you can get their ticker symbols there. Steve, that was very well done. I want to thank you so much for your time. Love to have you on again before the end of the month, if that's okay with you.
I would love to do it, Andy, and thank you very much for including us in your podcast broadcast.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks so much, Steve.